Super Mario Galaxy movie is highly anticipated because Gusty Garden Galaxy, let's be honest, is the best piece of music I have ever heard, and I will brutally die on that hill. And the grandiose wonder, adventure, and pure unfiltered joy of Super Mario Galaxy just needed to be put to cinema. No fan animation, no official animation could do it justice, but there were some issues. The Super Mario movie serves the purpose of fan service and celebration of Mario and money, and it knows this, and it embraces that. It wasn't about the plot, it was the execution. Make Mario Hollywood. Actually, that feels insulting. Make Mario glorious. Make this franchise represented with the best presentation money can buy. But they can't just do that again, right? Right? The second one needed to have a plot. And I expected a plot. The beginning of the movie was promising. I went to saw it in the theater. First, the CGI quality and animation and lighting is still the best I've ever seen in my life. As did its predecessor. This is like I remember I was in the theater. I looked at the lighting in the pizza store scene in the first movie, and I was just like, "This is the best." This is photo realistic. And here's the thing: I've been waiting for them to beat this shit, and I haven't seen anything. The Avatar movies have probably done it, but I haven't seen those. So far, this is the best I've seen in my life. The movie starts with Rosalina reading to Lumas, and this is great. And then she gets in a fight with Bowser Jr., the villain of this movie, as you've seen in the trailers, who is trying to avenge his father's legacy ideology, essentially, and that is imperialism on a galactic scale under the Koopa name. This opening scene is great. We get some action, and Rosalina is captured. So now we have an incentive for the movie. Now that wasn't a good sign, but I imagine it's the beginning of the movie. Come on, what? It's tradition. And then, the opening, then we open with Mario and Luigi, as you've seen in the trailer. And they introduced Yoshi. He just kind of became their friend slash pet, but Toad was literally like,
Who is this? Yoshi. Come on. So some dinosaur just shows up and he's now part of the group. Cool.
So the writers are aware of this, and they're making jokes about it. But but I want Yoshi. You want Yoshi. How else is he getting in here? Okay? You write the damn movie, why don't ya? They reestablished the setting nicely. Mario and Luigi are still Italian plumbers. Sometimes Nintendo forgets that. In fact, it's like they try to forget that with their movie adapted personalities, which I like. And Bowser is introduced. He is kinda in prison and being rehabilitated to function in the Mushroom Kingdom society. And though this seems he's genuinely trying to change and be a good character, and this is a good sign, which makes me think, oh, Bowser's out of the movie. This is not his focus. Like, they've checked him off as a checkbox. Just have Jack Black in there. Then the Star Festival happens, and it is marvelous. Just glorious. It's just stunning. They know what they're doing, bro. I know it's nostalgia bait, basically, but it is really high quality nostalgia bait. And it needs awards. It needs awards. Give it awards for that. Peach's castle, but not Peach, is captured. Now, all we need is space travel and the soundtrack, and we officially, in one instance of the soundtrack, and we officially have a Super Mario Galaxy movie. That's basically all you need to check mark. Some people were complaining that there wasn't enough Super Mario Galaxy elements in this, and I'd like to argue against that. The Super Mario Galaxy is not it's more of a vibe, if anything. I'd argue. And they got it down. They got it down just fine. And, Peach and Toad arrive at Gateway Galaxy using a launch star, gloriously launched through space, while the brothers and Yoshi end up in a different planet. They fought Bowser Jr. in the kidnap castle. This is where they revealed himself in the trailer. By the way, Bowser Jr.'s voice actor works surprisingly well, but his eyes are weird, and I don't like them. I don't know why they decided to make his eyes look like that. They just did. But your brain ignores it the majority of the time for some reason. I don't know why. But whatever. They fought Bowser Jr. in space. It is an awesome high stakes fight in an awesome setting. And they hit the ship, and the tractor even releases the castle, but it does not destroy the Koopa ship, which is very good. They didn't make the brothers overpowered. In fact, this destroyed ship, this releases the castle, and it changes the setting, nearly killing the brothers. Bowser, citing his good behavior, is let free and genuinely shows improvement, making a sacrifice for the brothers. Genuinely out of his heart, or seemingly out of his heart. I don't know what he planned to do. Now, Mario and Luigi, some stuff happens, a lot of stuff happens, but Mario and Luigi meet up with the princess. This is weird. Typically, when movies separate the main characters, that means that they're going to do something significant separately and meet up later at the endish of the movie. This could mean bad or good things. That the fact that they meet up in the middle, I don't know. Maybe it means movies could do something new. I don't know. And then they meet Fox McCloud, Sweet Land of Liberty. If I were a Star Fox fan, let's take a moment to just mourn the amount of in-theater heart attacks from Star Fox fans. Fox has this weird, super quick animated explanation on why he's here, but it weirdly feels natural, and it's probably because the writers know it's cliche, so they sped it up. He serves a purpose in the movie, and he doesn't detract anything from the movie, so I'm fine with his inclusion. Some people were more like, oh, they're gonna sell a Star Fox game or whatever off of them. I don't really care. Now, there's this moment where Bowser is like, hey, don't kill these guys, Junior. They're not exactly bad people. Which really made me think that they were going to do a thing like in Return of the Jedi, where Bowser overthrows Junior, like how Vader overthrows Sidious by overthrowing him. And Bowser was gonna join the gang, causing like a Koopa civil war, and Bowser Jr. was gonna get powered up by Kamek to become like the big baby Bowser at the end of Yoshi's Island. Didn't happen. And this is because Bowser Jr. reminded Bowser of his origins, their values, and their dreams as a father and son duo. And Bowser just becomes his old self. Bowser says something, Bowser Jr. says something along the lines of, "This is our destiny," later on. Technically, this is a professionally written and completed character arc, but it's a regression rather than a progression. Ironically, earlier in the movie, Luigi is acting on himself, but says something along the lines of, "Yes, I am! People don't change!" This is in the context of a funny joke, but it's funny because the movie clearly depicts ex-Koopa military as in, like, bad. If you watch, they're depicted as, like, criminals and lowlifes, and they're in bars and casinos. So the movie is accidentally sending the message, either be true to yourself, or people cannot change. But themes of siblingly love are present, still, just like the first movie. Mario at one point helps Bowser Jr., and this is where I thought, so this is where Bowser has his redemption. By learning he can, trust the people of the Mushroom Kingdom. But nope, he just ignores this. Peach and Mario had a very subtle romance plot that was very minor, backgroundish. This satisfies me because romance is conceptually being addicted to another person, and that's gross and weird. And we hear enough of it in our music anyway. Weirdly, this movie is like Star Wars, and I'm not saying that because I conveniently and autistically love Star Wars. It is essentially a conflict between two factions, two nations. One of them an evil empire, and another the underdog rebels. There's a princess, and a Han Solo type character, and a Death Star type thing, and it's in space. Overall, this movie The presentation was perfect. The characters were comedic. Not like laugh out loud comedic, it isn't a comedy, just like lighthearted quips at each other and comments. Their interactions, entertaining, always. Every single interaction was very well done. So it's all just very well done stuff. But I did not hear enough Into the Galaxy, Good Egg, Dusty Garden, or Battle Rock themes, like, anywhere. They were there, but too short. Like 10 seconds apiece. And you can't do that. I was expecting to see, like, in the poster, or one of the marketing material, Mario, there's gonna be a scene like in the first movie where they're in the Fire Flower Field, but it would be Mario just sitting on Yoshi, looking onto a nebula on a random, planet, and there's just to have some lightly played theme, or flying through space, and they're just Mario just sits there just looking gloriously at the galaxy before him, or Luigi, or whatever. But it didn't happen. Yeah, it was there. They did fly through space, and there was music that was from the game, and it was amazing, but it's just, they didn't let it set in enough. It didn't have the effect that it just did. It was just like, it's just there, and then take it away. It was just teasing the audience. Like, come on, bro. Basically, it was like a storytime animator on YouTube. All presentation, very little original plot, which is just like the first movie. While the presentation was magical, and the plot was, and the characters were all done professionally, and everything is great, the plot was seemingly cut in half. I'm brave enough to and mature enough to hate on my childhood franchise, but this movie had one thing going for it, the Bowser arc, and it cut it off. On their journey to complete the main goal, they have quite the adventure, much like the first movie. The first movie is primarily an adventure movie, leaving me not unsatisfied. Given its status as a fan service movie, it's okay to be and a family movie. It's okay to be an adventure movie. In fact, you can always sit down and enjoy a good adventure movie, which is basically just storytelling through setting and character interaction. But its status as a fan service movie, this film leaves me neutral. There are many movies that were almost good. They just need a little tweak. And this is one of those movies, and I hate to add to that pile. This movie has an identity crisis. It's two halves, fan service, and Bowser arc. That arc was cut in half. This movie has been neutered, meaning the film is incomplete in my mind. Like, in my mind, this movie is not a full movie. If I fell asleep halfway through this movie, and because of they drew out a nice flying through space scene like I described, I just out of shock, I just passed out. And I woke up later in the movie, and during the end credits, and they said, oh yeah, it happened exactly as you said it was gonna happen. Then I'd be fine. Well, I'd be pissed off I didn't see the movie, but I'd be satisfied with the plot. But it just doesn't do that. It had something, then it just cut it off. It's just an incomplete movie. Its mixedness has left me feeling quite empty about this movie. I have no opinions about this movie. On one way, I want to say that this movie is 10 out of 10 presentation. Character design, just everything is great. It's just they had one thing going for them with plot and character development, and they didn't follow through. They reverted. Like, what were the writers thinking? Like, finish the arc. I literally did it earlier, and mine was a copy. It's just why I can't even give this movie a formal rating. Because of that. I've never encountered a movie like this. Well, I think I actually have. But I've never encountered a movie much like this many times where I have to say, do I give it a good rating because it does everything else right besides one thing? Or do I give it a bad rating because it's incomplete? I don't know. My final thoughts? This movie was quite the adventure, and I'll give it that. Given the movie is simple in nature, if it followed through with its one plot point, I could give it a very good rating. Under that understanding, I could give it an 8 or a 9. But it didn't follow through. So that's why the Super Mario Galaxy movie is half of a masterpiece.